So I wanted to thank you guys for the warm reception in relation to my idea to start recording some of these skills and things that we talk about in either therapy sessions or in group, or in case you've never had therapy with me, just some of the things that I share with people. So before I even get into some of the requests, which that's cool. Thank you guys for some of the requests that you've put out there already on different topics that you've heard me talk about in session and would like to have an instant resource on YouTube. I will definitely be getting to some of those. But these are very anxious times. I know I don't need to tell you that. Just turn on the TV for 2 seconds and you'll see how anxiety provoking information is, whether we're talking about the pandemic or the political climate, things that we really don't have a lot of control about, or control over, I should say. So I just want to talk to you about just coming right back to the basics and the things that cause us to be more vulnerable to negative emotions. We have just some basic needs, and if you don't have these basic needs in place, you're not even on a level playing field. So I just want to highlight them. And if you have some of these in place, yay, you can be even more grateful that you have them in place. And if you don't, it's just more validation that, okay, these are really important and I need to work on making it more of a practice, or even putting things into place that you're already working on. So number one is just shelter, physical safety. It can be super triggering if you're a place to lay your head or to know that you have 4 walls around you at least. If that's not there, that can really send the emotions haywire. So those of us that do have a roof over our heads, very, very grateful for that, and acknowledging that not everybody has that for whatever reason. Sometimes you have to relocate because of relationship issues. Sometimes it's because of employment. Sometimes it's just because of like a rent thing, or you're relocating because of family, like you need to go help somebody else. Anyway, I think I'm making the point that it's very important to have your own safe place, a place to live, and even a place inside of where you're living. The other thing that causes us to be more emotionally vulnerable is if we're not getting good nutrition. So too much of a good thing, that's not good. I know when we first went into quarantine, people were joking about the quarantine 15 and emotional eating and all of that kind of thing. And I'm not going to get into actual nutritional needs, but just recognize that if you're hungry, you might be a little more edgy, or you might be a little more prone to anxiety and feeling shaky. So as best you can, eat on a consistent, regular basis. Hydration too, that's really important. Not letting yourself get to actually feel thirst, because if we are dehydrated, it can make us feel low energy, tired, grumpy, just malaise even. And just remember to hydrate. Movement. If you know me at all, or follow me on Facebook or anything like that, you know how important I believe it is to move at the level that you can. Stretching, that's a big thing, stretching. And in some of these videos, I'm going to be talking more about somatic experiencing techniques, just turning your head side to side, remembering that you can move if you're in a freeze kind of zone in your body, moving, getting outside, walking, jogging if you can. Again, you get the picture. I'm not gonna hammer that too much right now, but movement is very important. Sleeping. I know that's a huge issue if you're anxious anyway, to actually be able to, number one, fall asleep and then to stay asleep. But as much as you can to develop a routine where you're pretty consistent with the time that you can go to bed, that you're not watching the news or doom scrolling. Really chill out like an hour at least before it's time for bed. Staying up all night on whatever electronic or whatever TV, and then sleeping in till late, that kind of pattern, unless you're working the night shift, that's another thing, because I used to work midnight to 8 for many years. That's one thing. But if you're just kind of out of whack, doing your best to set a more consistent schedule. Being sick, not feeling well, that will definitely make us feel more emotionally vulnerable. And that kind of goes along too with if you have medication, whether it's for psychotropics or like a blood pressure medication, diabetes medication. Myself, many of you may have known several years ago, I had to have half my thyroid removed. So I have to have my thyroid medication first thing in the morning. Those meds that are prescribed to us for a reason, it's so important that we're consistent with taking them. Because if we're not, our system is kind of trying to keep up with it, dropping and coming back. So as level and stable as we can be with our nutrition, with our sleep, with our medication, not having too much to eat or too little to eat. Same with like any kind of, alcohol, too much of a good thing, not good, then we feel terrible. Just a regulation. And these basic things that I'm talking about, if we can regulate those, then we have way better chances of regulating our emotions. A lot of talking right there. So I hope you are in a place where you can get back to basics. Remember that they are a big deal. And once those are as regulated as possible, then we can start building on some of the more fine-tuned emotional regulation skills. So thanks for your attention. Thanks for your subscription, and we'll see you soon.